Item 9.
Item 9, proclamation recognizing the retirement of Dan Martindale, Longinos Gonzalez, Commissioner, Board of County Commissioners.
As I read this, hopefully Dan will make his way down with his team. So I move to approve proclamation recognizing the retirement of Dan Martindale. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of El Paso County, Colorado, regretfully acknowledges the retirement of Dan Martindale after 23 years serving with El Paso County Public Health, and whereas Mr. Martindale has served in many roles since being hired in June of 1995, including field coordinator, health educator, injury prevention specialist, program manager of the Tobacco Education and Prevention Partnership, emergency preparedness and response, maternal and health and child health, the Nurse Family Partnership, health promotion, and the Suicide Prevention Program. And whereas in 2011, he was appointed Deputy Director and was instrumental in EPCPH becoming the first accredited public health agency in Colorado and in attaining the Project Public Health Ready certification for emergency preparedness. And whereas Mr. Martindale became Director of EPCPH in 2014, and under his leadership, the Strategic Development and Initiatives Office was created and has been instrumental in securing additional funding to expand public health programs and services and improve access and services for vulnerable populations. And whereas Mr. Martindale assisted and guided the El Paso County Board of Health in developing data-driven policies, programs, and services to create positive public health outcomes for all citizens of El Paso County. And whereas Mr. Martindale has worked tirelessly through decades of service to enhance the capacity of EPCPH to better serve its clients and the public, he has made the development of highly qualified public health staff a priority, expanded key community partnerships, and invested tirelessly in community collaboration. And whereas Mr. Martindale's wit and humor throughout the years has brought laughter to employees, improved morale, and put staff at ease during tense and difficult situations. And whereas Mr. Martindale's leadership, knowledge, commitment, and service have created a strong foundation for the ongoing success of El Paso County Public Health, and he will be greatly missed by the community, staff, and colleagues. Now, therefore, the Board of El Paso County Commissioners hereby proclaims its gratitude to Dan Martindale for 23 years of dedicated service, done this 14th day of August 2018 in Colorado Springs, Colorado. The Board of County Commissioners of El Paso County, Colorado, Darrell Glenn, President, Mark Waller, President Pro Tem, Stan Vanderwerth, Longinos Gonzalez Jr., Peggy Littleton, members, attested to by Chuck Borman, County Clerk and Recorder.
Second.
I see a lot of people behind you. Are they shy? Does anybody
I
want
think we've got a good crew here to help
I just
support
wanted
them.
to say, since it is my retirement, I thought there'd be a crowd control problem, so I brought JD from the Sheriff's Department here, but apparently we won't need him this morning.
That's funny.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chris Garvin, Department of Human Services. On behalf of Julie Crow and myself, we'd like to thank Dan for his ongoing collaboration and partnership in the community and with our department, specifically with Not One More Child and the Nurse Family Partnership with Child Welfare. And he is always a jovial guy. I see him in the hallway quite a bit, in the garages, and we always have nice chats, and so I will miss that. And he's a great asset, and happy retirement. I'm jealous.
Good morning, Commissioners. J.D. Ross, Lieutenant with the Sheriff's Office. I've met most of you. I'm here today just to thank Dan and to let you know the kind of relationship the Sheriff's Office has had with the Department of Health over the past few years because of his leadership. Recently, the Sheriff's Office has gotten together with County Health and with other members of the community, and we put together a co-responder team. This is a mental health response team based out of the Patrol Division, working with trained social workers in the community. Over the course of the last year or so, we've averaged about 1,600 calls, mental health calls for service. We were not able to do this is based on a national model. There's no way we'd have been able to do it on our own. We needed some help, and we put together a really good team of folks. And under Dan's tutelage, and because of Dan and the Department of Health, we were able to secure a grant through the state of Colorado, which has allowed the sheriff's office to put this team together. Had it not been for his leadership, had it not been for the tremendous team that he has led and the legacy that he leaves behind, this community would be missing out on this tremendous resource. And already with just boots on the ground for about 2 months, we're averaging about 50 people being treated per month right now, with just a little over a month in. Our guys are running busier than they can. We're actually looking at building an auxiliary group to this unit. And again, I wanted to thank Dan for everything that he's done. And it's not just that team. We worked with them from their epidemiologists to the other folks in their health team, working on the rabies program, or the rabies plan, the rabies issue that we have within the community. The sheriff's office has many, many links to the Department of Health. And it is Dan and his leadership and his leadership team that has made all this possible. And I'm very grateful on behalf of the sheriff.
That's nice. It is a shy group.
Good morning, Susan Whelan, Deputy Director for El Paso County Public Health. I want to thank Dan over the many years for all of the support that he has provided to public health, the agency, and also the community. Under his leadership, we have been able to strengthen numerous community relationships and partnerships, such as the one that JD had just mentioned. And under his leadership also, we are reapplying to be accredited. And 5 years ago, we were the first accredited health department in Colorado. And so we really want to keep up that momentum. And on behalf of all of the staff at El Paso County Public Health, we have about 150 employees. We want to thank him because he has really lightened the department through his leadership and his humor that he has brought, and he is really going to be missed in a lot of his silliness.
Good morning, Mr. President, members of the board. Tom Gonzalez, Deputy Director, Public Health. There's 4 words that I want to kind of talk about with Mr. Martindale and his leadership style that I've grown to really appreciate over the last nearly 8 years working with him and under him. Empowerment, mentoring, trustworthy, and humor. When I talk about empowerment, working as his deputy, he empowered all of us, his leadership team, his management group, and all of his staff to be better. He asked us to take strategic risks. He gave us the ability to strive for excellence. These relationships we've built throughout our area and region come under his ability to believe in us, and that empowerment goes very, very far. Any leader knows that when you have staff believing in themselves and believing in him, you can do great things. Mentoring. I will miss coming down the hall with a challenge that we're dealing with, and being able to sit down with my boss and have a conversation. And he first listened, and then he asked me what my thoughts were, what do the staff think, what do our partners think, and then we would work together on a solution that was striking a balance for public health protection as well as all the other issues we deal with. So that is very, very powerful to have a leader that way. Trustworthy. Dan is an honest, trustworthy, no ego kind of guy. It's not about him. It's not about that. It's about the agency. It's about the people we serve. And that was said every day. And when you're brought up under that culture, it trickles down to where all of our staff trust each other. All of our staff believe in our mission. And that came from him and his direct voice and his tone that he set with the agency. And lastly is humor. You saw the pictures. Every town hall, we have a monthly town hall with all our staff. The staff look forward to the meeting because he's our stand-up comedian for the first 15 minutes, telling various public health jokes and humor, and it really goes a long ways with building morale. But his humor and his ability to let us take a deep breath at times when it's stressful dealing with the things we do at public health, that then led to a very calm, productive staff. For that, Thank you, Dan, and you're a wonderful, wonderful leader, an awesome boss, and I look at you as a friend. You will be missed. Thank you.
Hi, Kathy Schwan, Administration Manager for Public Health. I think Tom and Susan hit the nail on the head. There's not a lot to add, except that there are leaders who can get an awful lot done in their tenure, but there are very few who can do it with so much good humor and compliance with their staff, because they really genuinely want to help further the mission under that leadership. So for that, I will say thank you very much, Dan.
Mr. President.
And, okay, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I've had the opportunity to serve as counsel to public health for the past few years, working closely with Dan and his staff. I went into it knowing absolutely nothing about public health, and boy, have I gotten an education. I will say that the same thing everyone else has said. Dan doesn't take himself very seriously, but he takes his commitments very seriously. It's just, I've enjoyed working with him and his staff very much, and both the department and the community are losing a great advocate. You'll be missed.
Great.
Good morning, President Glenn and Commissioners. Elaine Johnson, Funding Optimization Manager, and much like Lori, I became a liaison to public health, working with them on budget issues and reporting, as some of you know, to the Board of Health each month on the status of the budget. It's been a pleasure, and I have learned so much about public health. I had no idea. It's been a great experience, and working with Dan to build the budget has been fun, shall I say. I learned that he had a sense of humor, and sometimes I didn't know how to take it, and I'd have to look at him, and then I'd realize he was joking. So we've had a good time even building the budget, and I appreciate you, Dan. I appreciate what you've done for public health and how we've developed a collaborative team to build your budget, to monitor your budget, and to have a very successful financial picture. So thank you very much for your leadership, and I'll miss you.
All right, I got to tell you, what you said, there was a lot of untruth in what you just said there. Working on budgets is never fun. I've done it, you know, all over, and I've done it with you a lot too. And it, you know, no offense, but I would never have described our interactions as fun that way. So I'm just saying. Maybe Dan brings something. Dan, can you come back and when we're doing budgeting meetings together and make them fun, apparently?
All right.
Am I able to say?
Yes, it's your turn now.
All right. So I just want to thank all of these staff and all of my staff for just 23 years of really my other family, and it's just been wonderful. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve with all the staff, El Paso County Public Health, and serve the citizens of our great county here. As some of you know, I've had a family and life change, and in October I'll be 53. Plus 10. So I just think now is a good time for me to kind of step back and, you know, begin that, you know, cliche, start that next chapter. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I want to thank all of you, all of our current commissioners, and there have been many in the past also that have shown great support for El Paso County Public Health. And I know you have a very difficult job with great responsibility, and I salute you, and I thank you for all of your support, past, now, and moving forward. So I thank you very much. I really want to thank the Board of Health for their support actually before and during my tenure as public health director. They too have a great responsibility, as you know, in El Paso County, and in my opinion, probably more so than most volunteer boards here in El Paso County. They make sometimes, and let's just be frank, sometimes it's life and death decisions that they will be called upon to make. And I thank them mostly for listening to my recommendations. So I would be remiss too if I didn't thank all of our partners and collaborators within the community, their support and what they've offered in helping us to achieve our goals and objectives. And this goes back 23 years at least from when I started. All of that is immeasurable. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without this wonderful community, all of its agencies. A perfect example is JD and the Sheriff's Department, but there's so many I can't even remember and name. So I wanted to mention that. That goes for all the agencies. As I've told you before, 73% of our budget is grants, contracts, and fees. Without all the grantors that have come before us and assisted us, we'd be in a worse shape than we are right now. So most of all, and at least for me most importantly, I want to thank all of my staff. All these folks here are on my leadership team. And again, lots of staff have come and gone in the last 23 years. And I miss them, and I will definitely miss my leadership team, my program managers, all 150 staff that we have. And that's why it's bittersweet for me. It's just the staff, because as I think I've mentioned to you before too, and you are the same, we spend more time with these folks here than we do our actual family for most of our career. We come in, we work 8, 10, 12 hours a day, we go home, I take a nap now, and then you get up and do it again. And that's kind of the way I see it. Also, in my opinion, if you would allow me, they're the most highly skilled staff working in El Paso County. I mean, we've got, and I know there's many others that have their work to do, and they do a fine job here, but from our physicians and nurses, our laboratorians, our community health educators, community planners, public information specialists, environmental health specialists, grant and contract specialists, emergency preparedness specialists, epidemiologists and disease control specialists, and our administrative support. It's quite a diverse group of individuals that need to be highly skilled for what we do. I think if you did a survey among El Paso County residents and asked them, why do you like El Paso County? What do you think is best about El Paso County? I think they might say things like, well, it's just really beautiful here. I love the mountains, or gosh, I really love to hike, and there's so many hiking trails. I like the schools, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'd be hard pressed to think that anyone would actually say, because of the optimal ability to have my health. And I think that that's something that we need to think about. I think moving forward, I think they not saying, yeah, because you guys have the best public health department here in the nation, or Colorado. It's a testament to our staff. So with little fanfare, they work every single day. One-on-one with residents, with small children, with needs. And they don't even give a second thought about it. When they walk outside the door in the morning to go to work or play or recreate or whatever it is, they don't think, God, wonder what disease I need to be careful of today, or gosh, what restaurant should I go to? I mean, because the food is not safe, or what child care center should I drop my child off because that child care center is not safe? And these stories, I think, come before us at the health department and before our county residents every single day. When I say life and death, every single day I'm sure that there's a story where a teenage son came to his mom and said, you know what, my friend was suicidal, and because I learned so much and what the red flags are for someone being suicidal, I was able to talk to my best friend, and he did not commit suicide. I mean, there's story after story after story. The 45 rabid skunks we tested this past March and April. I mean, I'm going to write a book, I think, about my experiences with El Paso County Public Health. But anyway, I know I'm getting long-winded here, but I truly want to thank all of my staff, because they are the ones that I'm going to miss the most. I hope in my 23 years that I have at least contributed something positively to the public's health here in El Paso County. And you can be assured when I'm gone, these and the rest of the 150 staff are not going to miss a beat. They know exactly what to do and when to do it, no matter what the situation. And again, I want to thank you, commissioners, for your time today and the many opportunities I've been given here at El Paso County. So thank you very much.
Great. Thank you. All right, I'll bring it up here. Commissioner Vanderwerth.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Dan, I just want to thank you for your service. You know, I think sometimes it does maybe feel like a thankless job, but you know, when those messages go out, people pick those up. And I mean, I've learned, right, from the messages that have come out about, you know, the recent discovery of rabies and the occasional time that comes up, and rabies is a killer. So it's important that these messages get out, and I think your leadership in helping the Board of Health and the Health Department do their job well, that is a great public service that you've done to the community. I'm proud that you've been able to do it, and you know, I knew a little bit about your humor, but I didn't know as much, and I saw some of those pictures there, and so apparently you do quite a lot of this. So I don't know what you're going to do now that you're leaving this job, but maybe it's stand-up comedy. And I don't know, you know, I'll give you your idea for the billing for your stand-up comedy routine, which is in the near future, I'm sure going to go nationwide, but it sounds like Dan Martindale, the humor doctor. So there you are, all right? But anyway, best of luck to you. Thanks for your service to the community. I know you considered it an honor and a privilege to serve El Paso County and the community. It's how I feel about my service as well. I wish you the best in your future endeavors, whatever they are, and thanks again.
Commissioner Waller.
Thank you, Mr. President. And congratulations, Dan. And by the way, I don't know who did the slideshow, but that was very well done. I think that's the first such thing we've had for a retirement, so very cool. I'm guessing that's going to be replicated in the future. It was awesome. It was great. I especially like the one picture where you're speaking at a forum and Commissioner Gonzalez is sitting off to the side with his arms closed, looking incredibly bored. But if we could bring that up again, I'd really like to see that one. It was pretty funny. But at any rate, you know, coming into this job, you don't realize just the vastness and the scope. No, not that one. We're getting there. Look at that. You look like a 1970s talk show host there, but that's pretty cool looking. At any rate, you know, I think coming into this job, I had no idea what the scope of public health was. You know, I thought it was to just prevent the spread of communicable diseases, which is a huge part of it, but there's a lot that goes into it. And it's impressive to understand just how many different sorts of things that you all touch in the community, whether it is preventing the spread of communicable diseases or, you know, going out to fire-impacted areas with Tom to discuss and overcome issues related to the spread of toxins in the ground water and soil and things of that nature as well. Great job. I think it's the kind of job that it should be a bit of an unsung hero kind of event and opportunity, because if you are out there, you're probably not doing something right. And so it's thankless, but it's one that's incredibly important. So appreciate all you've done. Again, 1970s talk show host right there. That's amazing. But thank you for your 23 years of service to our community. It's huge. I think we're getting close to the slide here. There it is. Look at that. He's sleeping. Stop it. Pause.
I think I'm up next. The reason is they made me speak at that event, and so I'm going through what I was going to say. So that's why it looks like I'm.
We'll buy that.
I did. They made me speak at these. I don't like to speak like some other elected officials like to get up there and speak for a while. Commissioner Waller. No, I just wanted to thank you, Dan, for all your great work. In 23 years, it's amazing what you've given to the county. And by looking at your staff, you're right. I mean, they've had great leadership and mentorship and training, and that's because of you. And as was already mentioned, in the year and a half that I've gotten to know you from the Board of Health and some of the events that we've had to address, you have done a great job, and your staff have done a great job, whether it was the tire fire, the fires in general that we had to address, the water contamination issue, which you and the staff have really helped us out with, and keeping the public informed, and of course the rabies, because that has been a thing that just keeps coming back. But just wanted to thank you for all the great work you've done, and it's been a wonderful year and a half working with you. And the only thing I missed there, I didn't see you wearing the broccoli outfit.
And you won't.
Commissioner Littleton.
Thanks. So, gosh, I'd never seen you with hair before. Somebody else's pictures, right? So, Dan, thank you for your service. I think as I reflect back over the 8 years that I've been a commissioner, having the opportunity to make our immunology department and testing more robust with some of the different equipment that we were able to get in there. I think we're on the leading edge for that here in the state of Colorado. Looking at putting in a WIC South office where Commissioner Gonzalez and I were there and had the honor to participate in that event. Looking at the leadership that you provided, certainly appreciated. And I know this has been a challenging year. Life has changed a little bit. But it looks like, I hope the baby in the picture was a grandchild, and that you will get to spend more time with that grandchild now, since you're going to have the opportunity to move on and explore new opportunities, explore new paths. Thank you for your service.
And I too want to join in with my colleagues and thank you for your service and dedication. And I look at your staff and I know I've worked with them and how dedicated they are, and it's a good reflection of the leadership at the top. So enjoy your time, go zip lining, go do something else, have fun, but stay in touch. So I will, let's call the roll, and then we will stand in recess and take a picture. So Commissioner Littleton.
With great appreciation, aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Aye.
Commissioner Vanderwerf?
Aye.
Commissioner Waller?
Aye.
President votes aye. That passes unanimously. We will stand in recess and take a picture.